All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are digging into a huge question that sits right at the heart of our digital lives. It's this fundamental tug of war between using AI to keep us safe online and, our right to keep our personal data private. It's a seriously high stakes balancing act. So let's just frame the core problem right up front. To stop these really sophisticated cyber threats, security AI has to be able to see patterns in our behavior. But how much watching is too much watching? That's the big question we're diving into. So let's talk about how we usually think of AI in this whole situation. We tend to see it as our digital guardian, right? This powerful shield standing between us and the bad guys. But as we're about to see, that shield is definitely a double-edged sword. And this right here just perfectly illustrates the paradox. I mean, on one hand, AI is an absolutely incredible protector. It can predict threats and spot anomalies that a human could never ever see. But, and this is a big but, to do that, it has to be a constant, intrusive observer. The very thing that keeps us safe has to watch our every digital move. And that creates this fundamental tension that we have to manage. This brings us to the price tag on that protection. And it's not a price you pay with money. It's paid with our data. So let's get really specific about what this constant observation is actually costing us. And this data, wow, it gets incredibly personal really fast. We're not just talking about some abstract ones and zeros here. A security AI is analyzing your network traffic. That can be your IP address, who you're talking to. It's seeing system logs with your username and the exact files you're accessing. It's even looking at data right from your device, your phone, your laptop, things like your browser history and what apps you have running. It's literally building a pattern of your life online. Okay, so when you collect all that data, you open up a whole can of worms when it comes to privacy risks. The really big one is something called re-identification. We'll get to that in just a second. But AI can also guess or infer incredibly sensitive things about you, like your health status or your political beliefs, just from your online habits. It can build these super detailed profiles. And of course, there's always the chance your data could just get accidentally exposed. And that leads us to this absolutely critical idea: re-identification. See, you might think your data is totally safe if it's been anonymized, right? Well, that's not always true. Re-identification is the scary process of taking that supposedly anonymous data, mashing it up with other info, like, say, a public social media post, and boom, linking it directly back to you. Just like that, your privacy protection is completely gone. So, that sounds pretty bad. How do we fight back? Well, this isn't a totally hopeless situation. The experts have a playbook, a whole set of rules and tools designed specifically to manage these risks and keep our information safe. It all starts with 3 foundational principles. Think of them as the golden rules. First step, purpose limitation and data minimization. Basically, only collect the data you absolutely need and only for a specific good reason. No digital hoarding. Second, integrity and confidentiality. You've got to lock that data down and protect it from being lost or seen by the wrong people. And third, accountability. Someone has to be responsible for making sure these rules are actually being followed. Now, these principles aren't just, nice ideas. They're actually baked into major laws. You've probably heard of Europe's GDPR and California's CCPA. They are 2 of the most influential regulations on the planet. They give people like you and me real rights over our data, like the right to demand it gets deleted. This sets a really high legal bar that forces AI security systems to be built with privacy in mind from the get-go. Okay, let's clear up a really, really important distinction: anonymization versus pseudonymization. Anonymization is supposed to be a one-way street. It's irreversible. Your personal identifiers are stripped out for good. But pseudonymization, that's different. It's reversible. It just replaces your info with a kind of code name, but there's a secret key somewhere that can link it all right back to you. It's a huge difference because under most laws, that pseudonymized data is still considered personal data. So, with those ideas in mind, let's look at the actual toolbox. How do people do this de-identification stuff? Well, there are some seriously clever techniques. There's generalization, which just makes the data less precise, like rounding a login time to the nearest hour instead of the exact second. There's substitution, where you swap out real IP addresses for fake ones. You can also use data perturbation, which adds a bit of random noise to the dataset to hide individual data points. And then there's the gold standard, differential privacy, which is a way of giving a mathematical guarantee of privacy. But here's the thing. Using all these tools and following all these rules isn't a one-and-done kind of fix. This is a constant, delicate balancing act. It's a tug of war between two totally legitimate but often competing needs: our security and our privacy. And this quote just nails it perfectly. The goal here isn't to find some static, final answer. It's a dynamic negotiation. We are constantly having to rethink and reevaluate the trade-offs as both the technology and the threats keep evolving. It's a process, not a destination. So, what are the best strategies for that negotiation? Well, first off, privacy by design. Don't try to bolt privacy on at the end. You have to build it in from the very beginning. Next, be transparent. Be crystal clear about what data you're using and why. Use strong access controls to make sure only the right people can see sensitive data. And this is a big one. Maintain human oversight. You cannot let the AI make all the decisions, especially when they impact real people. At the end of the day, this all comes back to a very personal question for every single one of us. As we rely more and more on AI to keep us safe, we have to really understand the value of what we might be giving up to get that safety. So what does this all boil down to in the real world? It means that responsible AI security is absolutely possible. It's a whole philosophy that starts with building privacy in from the ground up. It means being disciplined about only collecting what's absolutely necessary, being rigorous about de-identifying that data, and making sure that through transparency and human oversight, the whole system stays accountable to us. And that really just leaves us with one final big thought to carry forward. As AI's capabilities grow, and they are growing exponentially, this tension between our security and our privacy is only going to get more intense. The challenge isn't just a technical one anymore, it's an ethical one. It's forcing us to decide what kind of digital world we actually want to live in, and will we eventually be forced to make a choice between our safety and our secrets?